Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to talk about Kazuya and specifically the topic of banning him because this character is a massive problem. We've already come pretty far as a community. We have banned Steve, which is like, thank goodness, because that character is ridiculous. I don't know how we didn't ban it the second we saw his back here in the reveal trailer, but Steve is gone. Thank the Lord. We're going to be banning him probably worldwide by the end of this year, which again is healthy for the game. And I think the same thing will be applied to Kazuya. This character is ridiculous, but I think Kazuya is much more of a problem in tournament than Steve is, because I do agree on a tier list Steve's the best character in the game on contestant and Kazuya has his struggles, but the thing about Kazuya is he doesn't have any risk reward. At least Steve has a little bit of risk reward with some of his moves, but electric specifically, which is all Kazuya players should be doing. If a Kazuya player does anything in neutral but crouch dash and electric, they are throwing, and I'm not even over exaggerating. Maybe a grab as well. Grab could be good because you can kill off that. So Kazuya, you have your invincible electric that pokes on shield, push them away, so it can't be shield punished. It kills you at 0. It isn't that hard to input, and the amount of damage that you get from electric is ridiculous. And I think that's a huge problem about Kazuya that people aren't really talking about, is the amount of damage every single move that he does is insane. He doesn't even have to do a ton of reps. Even if Kazuya, you mess up your first electric combo, you get an electric, you get an air, that's it, you're still getting like 40%. You get a grab, you're still getting like 20%. He has a killing up out of shield. Kazuya is ridiculous, and we're seeing him cause a lot of damage in tournaments. Another huge problem about Kazuya that we don't really see that much in Steve is how easy Kazuya is as a secondary character. Steve is a character you do need to at least invest a pretty decent amount of time into, but Kazuya, we've seen 2 PGR players in T and Riddles both pick up the character and both become top 10 with the character, though T was already probably top 10 pre-quarantine era. He's now definitely top 10, or at least was in 2022, and Riddles has risen a ton, as well as you have to give them credit for quarantine as well. I'm sure they grinded out, but Kazuya is definitely a big factor there. Whereas with Steve, we haven't really seen that at all, because the character you need to invest so much time in. But with the Kazuya, if you know how to electric, you literally know basically everything with the character, because the combos aren't hard. It's incredibly easy, as well as the character being very easy to get upsets with because they're a great tournament character. Their risk reward is 0. I've already talked about this, but when you throw in an electric, there is no wrong. That is the objectively correct choice in every single situation, which is just a massive problem. I will say, though, the one saving grace that Kazuya does have is that he at least loses a couple matchups. When you look at Steve, that character loses literally no matchups. It is +2s or +1s all around the board. Maybe you want to argue Cloud is even, but if you're somewhat competent at edge guarding, then that matchup is pretty much unwinnable. But this isn't about Steve. That character is already pretty much banned. For Kazuya, he does have a couple losing matchups, and the risk reward is skewed so heavily in his favor that you can still win those, but Ice Cameras can be a little tricky. Sonic is a really difficult one, but that much we want to talk about Sonic, because Sonic is also a character that I think should be banned. Sonic is better than Kazuya. I have Sonic as number 2 in the game, obviously Steve at number 1. Kazuya is somewhere in that top 5. But for Sonic, the problem with his is not only the viewership problem, which is a massive thing right now in esports because of how the economy is. You need those viewers, you need those sponsors. And if a sponsor sees someone drop 10k, 15k viewers in a grand finals because you have Sonic in there, that is a huge problem. You can't really afford that right now. As well as Sonic just being ridiculously broken in the game. No character can speed it up and slow it down like Sonic can, and he has the best of both. Sonic's aggression is unreal. When you look at a player like Sonic, who's, by the way, like in contention for number 1 in the world, simply ridiculous, not at all carried by Sonic. I should get that away because we're going to be bashing on Sonic a lot here. But when he can speed up and have a game take a minute, which he does often, you look at a Sonic set, like at least one of those games is like 2 minutes, a minute long, because he is just running over someone, and the rest of them are 6 and 5 minutes. And as the opponent, that's not really a fair tempo change that you have to deal with. It's not really something that you can consistently beat. When a character can speed up and slow down that much, it's just really hard to deal with, as well as Sonic having the best edge guarding in the game, which gives him a massive X factor and always allows him to come back in the game. And the reason that he has the best edge guarding is because he can cover high really well with Spring, as well as being able to cover low really well because of how Spring works. Again, he can forward air low. Oh, you're going high, use Spring, immediate forward air. Again, it's a long lingering aerial. It kills as well. So Sonic has the best edge guarding. He has the best camping in the game. He has some of the best aggression. The character is just overall ridiculous, and also arguably loses no matchups. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there, but Kazuya is ridiculous. I think another great example of why this character is so broken is the fact that Riddles is able to consistently not only beat, but wash the best player in the world at MKLeo, except at the Scuff World Tour, but we're not going to count that. That was like a weird event. But the last 4 times that they played, aside from Scuff, you have at Ultimate Summit 5, where Riddles won 3-0, you have at Collision, where Riddles won 3-0, and you have at the most recent Summit, where Riddles won 3-0. Oh, and he almost won 3-0 at Scuff World Tour, but then that Marth, I don't know what he was cooking with that Marth, but it was clearly working, so we're not even going to worry about that. But Kazuya is clearly a problem if you were able to wash the best player in the world. And obviously Riddles is very good, and he still did earn those wins because you still have to beat Leo. But if you can do it that easily, the character is definitely a problem. Just who else we've seen do that really easily? Aqua with Steve. Also Sonics with Sonic. It's not been the same level of Sonics with Sonic, but we did still see it at Let's Make Big Moves. And another character that's been able to do it was Apollo Kage at Ultimate Summit 6, which brings me up to another character that I think needs a serious ban in Snake. Now, there's a couple problems that I have with Snake. The biggest one being obviously Grenade. Having a frame 1 out that is not only a kill confirm, but also just does a lot of damage. Like a frame 1 option that's doing like 10 damage is ridiculous. Snake is super heavy, so he's going to be favoring those trades a lot of the time. And you can combo grenades into C4, you can combo grenades into your aerials, and like every single Snake aerial does like 20% because that character is ridiculous. You also have Snake with one of the best, if not the best grab game in the game. Maybe Donkey Kong's better with like forward throw, but down throw with Snake is ridiculous. You can just tech chase someone and kill them at 0 if you get them right in the right position. It's a guaranteed kill at 160% as well, which may seem pretty high, but with Snake it is incredibly easy to rack up the damage because of how Grenade works. But I think the main problem with Snake is the amount of variability you're able to have in his play, and we see this a lot again in Steve. I'm just referring to Steve a lot because he's a good benchmarker for this stuff is ridiculously broken. But with Steve, you can play this character in 30 different ways. Snake is the exact same. If you want to be super aggressive, it works because his boxing tools are amazing, and if he hits you once, you're taking like 30-20% even just from one move. His camping is amazing. His B reverse mix-up are amazing. His C4 placement, every single thing about Snake is really good. And it's always been like, oh, but don't worry, he has a bad disadvantage. No, he doesn't. Snake does not have a bad disadvantage. Snake players are just bad. The amount of B reverses that you have with this character with your frame 1 out and with C4 and with mix up with up B, with fast fall air dodge, with fast fall back air, fast fall pull grenade, fast fall do nothing. You have so much mix up with this character. The disadvantage is not bad. His boxing tools are unreal. And then up tilt, I could rant about up tilt for like 30 more minutes. He's also just like a really lame character to watch. I don't know who enjoys watching Snake. This character is a massive problem and he needs to be banned at the same speed of Kazuya and Sonic. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked in this video, but hey, what can I say? When you're talking about bans, there's a lot of characters in this game that are fairly unbalanced. But back to Kazuya, the Fighter Pass 2 in general is just really ridiculous, especially Aegis. I don't know why you can switch between two characters, and I think for Aegis and PT, we need to seriously consider the fact that, okay, they should be locked to one character at the start of the match, because you shouldn't have access to not only Squirtle, but Charizard. Ivysaur's kind of a weird one to talk about because he's just kind of this weird middle ground, though Ivysaur is still very good. But with Squirtle, you have the fast frame data, the really quick combos, and amazing grab game. And with Charizard, you have this just amazing kill options. He's so quick. His out of shield game is also incredibly impressive. Kills off every single grab that he gets. And Pyra Mythra, we already know that character is a massive problem. Mythra literally just wins neutral for you, and Pyra kills, again, super early, but a great way to balance these characters is, okay, you have to be locked into the character at the start of the game. You can only go Squirtle, you can only go Charizard, Ivysaur, Aegis, you can only go Pyra or Mythra, because it just makes it so at least your character is balanced. Characters are supposed to have flaws. The fact that you can switch between characters to nullify these flaws is just kind of stupid. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there, but another huge problem about Kazuya is how good his stage list is. If you don't ban FD versus Kazuya, you're essentially just saying, I'm okay with losing this game, because Kazuya on FD is literally unwinnable. It is so hard to avoid him, it's so hard to get away from Electric, and he just kills you every single time he hits you, because there's no platforms to get in his way. But even if there are platforms that get in his way, he can just Verbs tech, so every single stage is amazing for Kazuya. He doesn't have a single bad stage to go to. It's just kind of like picking the lesser of the poisons, and we kind of already have a problem with Ultimate's current stages. Like, they're pretty much the same for most of them. I think another character that abuses this super hard is Mario, and I'd also argue that we need to ban Mario or change the stage list. Like, I think if you change the stage list, then Mario's fine to stay, but the way that Mario plays around all the stages that we have currently, it's just ridiculous. It's not fair. The fact that he can kill you on your counter pick at 30% off a really fast up air or a nair, up air out of shield, by the way, it's so ridiculous that Mario is killing you out of shield. He's killing you off a grab. His platform extensions are unreal. We're seeing Kurama have a lot of success right now because every single aerial that he hits, he's leading it into a kill, and obviously you do have to be precise with your combos. It's not incredibly easy to do, especially when there's swords in the meta, but we need to fix the stage problem, or a character like Mario can just run rampant. Every single time Mario grabs you, you're going to be dying. If he hits an up air, you're going to die. If he hits like a down tilt, you're dead. Back air, you're dead. Nair, you're dead. You kind of get the point. Mario is a ridiculous character. If you fix the stage problem, though, it's not as bad. So this was a little bit more of a backburner. If we could fix the stage problem, we don't need to worry about Mario. But knowing the way that the Ultimate community is, we don't really like to mess with the stages. So I just say we ban Mario as well. And I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. In summary of this video, Kazuya is a character that 1000% needs to be banned. Every single stage is good for him. He has no flaws. Every single interaction is essentially Kazuya winning because it's either killing you at 0 or he's invincible, so you don't get to punish him anyway. The character is ridiculous and definitely needs a ban. We also need to ban Sonic. That character is unfair. Snake as well. Mario too. Aegis and PT, I think we need to ban them or at least put some new rules on them. I think Incineroar as well, I couldn't really find a point to put in the video. Incineroar, I don't think revenge should be a thing in the game, so maybe just don't let Incineroar players use revenge. I think Ice Climbers as well, Nana Popo, it's just like a weird mechanic. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to have two different fighters or your opponent just have one, so maybe we just make it so Nana STs, I think that could be fine, make that character a little more balanced. Same thing, Rosalina and Luma, you just have to kill Luma every time they respawn. So a lot of problems in this game that we just kind of have to get rid of. I also really don't like the fact that we have to deal with both Isabel and Villager. Like, the characters are similar enough where I feel like we can just ban one of them, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, the mains could just switch the other way, and you don't have to learn all these little intricate matchup things, because a game like Ultimate, there's 80 plus characters. There's so much to learn, so I think we need to get rid of all those characters again for the sake of the game. It needs to be healthy. Also, the Miis shouldn't be able to choose their specials. I mean, like, come on, what are we doing at this point? 9 specials for the different Miis. They all shouldn't have that. They should be set to one special rule. We'll let the Mii players decide that, though. I think that'd be fair. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Sport has been absolutely unreal late. Also, we have to ban Puff because Puff, you shouldn't be able to rest. Rest kills at like 30. That's just not fair. And RNG has no place in a fighting game. Like, the fact that Peach and Daisy, Game & Watch, and Hero haven't been banned already is an atrocity. We also need to ban Little Mac, or at least take away KO Punch. Like, no character should have a command grab that kills at 20. That is just ridiculous. We also need to get rid of, like, one-hit moves like Falcon Punch, Warlock Punch, Byleth Down B, all of those characters. Maybe we just ban them outright. I feel like that'd be a lot easier because it's so hard to dictate that in tournament. It's just so hard to manage all these characters with these broken features. Ultimate is just such an unbalanced game. And honestly, I think I should just switch to Melee at this point.